Hello and welcome to Starting Small. Today I'm joined by Carl Borholder. We're here at Gen Y. Carl, thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to start out. So you grew up in this area, in Indiana. Where did you grow up here?
Yeah, matter of fact, I grew up just a mile from here, where we're at right now. So
yeah,
yeah, grew up there. Got married, you know, and moved out to Bremen, then ended up moving back to Nappannee.
Yeah.
Back in probably 2000. When was it? 15 maybe?
Okay.
Like that.
Incredible. So what got you into kind of the manufacturing, especially in the hitches? What kind of led into that?
I used to own a tree service company, and you know, back in, I think I bought into that about 2008, somewhere in there. And the idea of the multi-purpose hitch that we build currently, kind of came from when I owned that company. Got it. There was a need for it, and I ended up building some for ourselves. Put on our own trucks. Did that, and people seen them and wanted to buy some, wanted me to build them some. Yeah. I'm like, well, you know, I'm cutting trees. It's not really related. Yeah. And at one point, I just came to the conclusion that maybe I can make a business out of it. Yeah. And I really hated cutting trees to start with, so it kind of worked out great, you know.
I would love to hear, since, I mean, you guys have scaled exponentially. We're in a brand new facility. What was that like in the first year of launching? Were you just building these yourselves, manufacturing in-house yourself? What was that like? Well, I mean, if you talk about first year, I was doing it in my garage. Yeah. So, yeah. You know, that's exactly starting small for sure. Exactly. Started in my garage, you know, hired one of my best friends, hired him in as a salesperson, and kind of started from there. Yeah. And the first one to 2 years, we didn't do a whole lot, you know, trying to figure things out. Yeah. And it took a while to file a patent. We wanted to patent this product, so got that all done. And the first year we didn't do a whole lot, but we kind of the next year 2, year 3, 4, and 5, we actually grew 100% year over year. Wow, it's incredible. So personally, outside of the trucking industry myself, I've seen so much like community around Gen Y. Like a lot of the trucking community is driven towards this product. It's unlike you see in the typical store of like a hitch, where traditionally, if you wouldn't mind, kind of take us through maybe like that first hitch that you launched. What did that look like into comparison today? Is it fairly similar? Not similar at all. Yeah. You know, the very first one looked very like stuck together. Yeah. So it's much more streamlined now. You know, smoother lines and all that stuff. Yeah. If you don't mind, if we could take a little tour and kind of show us some of the process. Probably should start back here. All right. This is kind of the way it flows. Yeah. And kind of take it step by step. Perfect. So back here, this is where all the raw material is. Okay. This all comes in on semi trucks. All like the tube and that type of stuff is all cut on this saw. Very cool. Length. And here's all the flat sheet. So most of our hitches are built out of, you know, 5 by 10 foot flat sheet. That's how we buy it. Got it. And it comes in here. We throw it on this. This is a laser cutting machine. Okay. And all the parts get cut out here. Some of the parts you can see is what we cut out. So for reference, where are most of your suppliers coming from? Here locally, or? Most of them are local. Yeah. You know, Alro Steel. They're we buy a lot of stuff from them. Different supply. It kind of depends on where the cheapest price is. So for sure. Obviously, with the steel market, it's always up and down, you know, and you always have to kind of shop around and find the best deal. Amazing. So this is the mold itself that leverages the gauges, the different settings right here? Well, this is actually for the drop hitches. Got it. So the original hitch that I built, that's the parts to build that hitch. Got it. It's actually a side plate, reinforcement side plate for it. Okay. So some of that stuff up there is for like the gooseneck stuff we do. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean the sheets, you can see a sheet in there.
Yep.
That's how it goes on there. This is an automated laser loader, unloader.
Very cool.
So it would actually pick up, the sheets are stacked on top, you see.
I see.
It'll grab a sheet with those suction cups that you see in there.
Yep.
And put it down on the bed, and it'll switch the table, and it'll just continue to do that all night.
Very cool. So at what point did you bring automation into the workflow?
We started doing or thinking automation probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
Actually pre-COVID probably.
Yeah.
We started talking about it. But COVID really kind of sped it up for us.
Yeah.
You know, I think it did for a lot of manufacturers.
For sure.
Just the lack of the workforce during COVID and all that.
Yeah.
So that was really when we kind of catapulted into the next level.
Got it. Awesome. Awesome. And then the next step from this would be to where?
Then we're going this way. So all the cut marks flow over into here. A lot of them get staged on that rack. All the racks back there.
Okay.
This is our metal forming machine.
Okay.
This is actually where we bend the steel.
Got it.
The parts that we cut out. Then it would come over in here. This is where most of the stuff would get welded.
Okay.
So these are 4 robot cells that weld robots. So that's where most of the drop hitches, what we call the universal hitches, get built.
Got it. Now, is this process semi-automated as well, or?
Yeah, we have 2 guys loading and unloading.
Okay.
The robot, and the robot basically has 2 tables.
Got it.
So you're welding one and you're loading and unloading the other.
Got it.
So it's always just switching.
I see. Very cool.
So that's that. Here we do a lot of hand welding.
Okay.
More of the lower value stuff that we build.
Okay.
It's more efficient to do this way almost.
Really?
Than doing a robot. Just because of programming and all that.
I see.
It takes a long time to program. If you're only doing 6 or 8 pieces,
Yeah.
it makes sense to just do it.
That makes sense.
This process here is our hitch ball.
Okay.
That's actually where the trailer connects to.
Got it.
This is the process we have. Also a robotic welder. So out front here, he's loading and unloading right now, and it's welding on the back.
Okay.
That table just rotates
I see.
and switches tables once it's done.
Got it. So the process here is they take one of these single ball units and then they weld it onto the bar.
That bar.
Got it.
No, we got, there's 4 pieces per side.
Okay.
So it'll be welding 4 pieces
Got it.
on every cycle.
Very cool.
This is just, extra inventory that we got that's ready to get welded.
Okay.
That line, these would be machined right here.
I'm sorry?
We would finish machine them on this machine.
Got it.
So if you get close, you can see the weld here on that one.
Yeah.
So basically we come in here and this machine grinds it flat.
Got it.
That's the process on this operation here.
Very cool.
This is what it's called, horizontal lathe. So we do a lot of parts that we use within our hitches get machined here.
Okay.
So this actual piece right here will be getting the teeth.
Okay.
So we're shaving off the sides, we're drilling holes, we're doing all that.
So how does that work inside there? How do they load that in, and how many can it handle at once?
I think so. We basically go into that thing right there.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 pieces.
Got it.
And that, again, that just rotates. There's another one like that on the other side is working on.
I see.
And just rotate, and then you load and unload while it's doing the other side.
Efficient. I like that.
Same type of thing here. This is just some parts, low volume parts.
I see.
This is a pretty cool machine. This is where we turn out all our hitch pins. So you can see it operate right there. Basically, it's going in that bar you see in that little tub.
Yeah.
And this is what we're cutting out.
Very cool.
It's a stainless steel pin for the hitch.
Very cool. Do you guys have a lock system on some of your pins as well, or no?
We do have 2 different locks that we carry and sell.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what is that doing, that process, right? Is that cleaning at the end, or what is that?
Basically, it's taking this bar, this is a solid bar, and it's cutting down here, drilling that hole, making this little divot in there to grab hold of it.
Yep.
And it's rounding off the edges, and it's cutting that in.
Very nice.
The whole process is done in, I think it's 30 seconds maybe.
Wow.
Every 30 seconds you get another pin. You'll see them come out there.
So they load one of these full steel bars into that system, and it cuts on the way in? Very cool.
Just cuts the end, then cuts it off, and cuts the pin again, cuts it off, just keeps doing it.
I see. Very cool.
Got the fast machine. A lot of the technical term they use for these machines, Swiss machine.
Yeah.
Originally the Swiss came up with this machine where you can do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
So you watch. Well, there comes one. Oh, there's 2 of them there. Basically what this machine's capable of, it's capable of having a double head doing something at the same time.
Very cool.
A traditional machine, you can only do one thing at a time.
I see.
Which therefore makes it a lot faster.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But these are pretty popular these type machines are popular in the medical industry.
Yeah.
Where they make, pins, screws, stuff like that.
I see. For reference, can you depict on how many hitches you guys are making a day? Total construction?
Total pieces?
Yeah.
We're probably, I would say, anywhere from between 300 and 400 per day.
Yeah.
That can vary some by 100 or 200 pieces probably.
Yep.
Depends on what we're building. So some hitches take longer, so we won't get the quantities out.
Yeah.
And other hitches we can get more quantities out, smaller hitches.
For sure. Very cool.
Again, this machine, these 3 machines right here, they can run lights out. So we'll run these all night.
Okay.
Yeah. And nobody's here.
Wow.
So that's kind of where we're going with all of our operations.
Yeah.
Get a lot of pieces and parts that we can build with the lights out.
I love it. Do you see total construction, maybe some of the operations that are operating right now that you guys close out, do you see eventually going into full automation?
We're even looking at adding some handling robots right in that area where we do the welding with the robot. So in other words, there'd be a robot sitting outside that would load and unload the hitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they come down a conveyor, the robot would grab it. Right now we have 2 people there doing it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the next steps in automation.
Very efficient.
There's a lot of opportunities to add automation.
For sure. Absolutely. Incredible.
Yeah, most of these machines are connected to the internet where we can monitor everything online.
Okay. Yeah.
So, the person that kind of operates these machines, so he'll check in on them.
I see.
Online. If something goes wrong, we know exactly what's wrong.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and then over here, so everything gets built. Actually, let's look at this a little bit. So there we got a handling robot.
Okay.
That's actually, this goes in as that bar right there.
Yeah.
And comes out. Something must be wrong there. It comes out as that.
Okay.
That's the thing they were welding back there.
Got it.
And this machine will run lights out too, so that'll unload every piece. See how it's got the ball grabbed right now?
Yeah.
Must have have an error or something.
So how long is one of these how long does it take for one to get produced, would you say?
I think this is like an 8-minute cycle.
Okay.
So basically from start to finish, it's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
I see.
Yeah, and that'll just keep piling this up until it's mounted up.
Wow.
Like that. And then we'll swap that out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that robot's arm will turn and place it into this?
Well, yeah.
Once it's running, yeah.
It's stuck right now.
Yeah, I got you. Very cool.
Not sure why. The operator needs to come over here and kind of see what's going on. And this one here, same scenario. We'll load this up with bar. The square bar.
Yep.
This will all get loaded up and this machine will just run. And what we're building here is our inner bars for the torsion system. This is kind of what it looks like.
Okay.
Out. Use that, drill the hole.
Very cool.
Goes in as a square bar first. So, that's kind of the, other than powder coating,
Yeah.
kind of the process of building the product.
Very cool. Where do you guys end up holding inventory then, once the product's finalized and you assemble?
Most of it's over here.
Okay.
The racking, you see there.
Yeah.
See, right now we don't do powder coating on site. So in other words, painting.
Yeah.
We don't do it here.
Got it.
So we load everything on trucks.
Yep.
Ship it out to a third party, and they powder coat it, and then we bring it back in and put it on these shelves
Got it.
as ready to ship product.
Got it. And then to the listeners, as long as around like your end customer then. So do you ship direct to consumer? Do you go to retailers? What is that?
So we do both.
Yeah.
We're about 50-50
Okay.
retail, wholesale.
Got it.
Now. So about 50% of our sales are directly to retail.
Yeah.
And originally when we started, that's kind of the way my vision for the company and even where the world's going
Yeah.
is manufacturing selling directly to consumers.
Yeah.
And we see that increase every year.
For sure.
And I feel like that's important to keep setting yourself up that way as a manufacturer.
Definitely.
To be selling directly to the consumer.
Yeah, you have a lot more control.
Yes.
For sure.
And we want to do both.
Yeah.
So we want to, there's a time and place for warehouse distribution.
Yeah.
You know, they definitely reach more stores
Yeah.
than we can directly, you know, selling to the consumer.
Yeah.
And like all the mom and pop shops, if you think about those in every town,
Yeah.
the warehouse distribution is still the way to go with that.
For sure.
But like I said, we're split about 50-50. So
Yeah.
That tells you a lot, you know.
Yeah. Having a lot of control on your consumer with that direct to consumer model, I'm sure you have a lot of understanding of who your consumer is.
Oh, for sure.
What would you depict is that demographic overall for your hitches?
The hitches we build reaches a huge demographic. So
Yeah.
if you think about RV,
Yeah.
construction, contractors, marine, you know, the oil industry,
Yeah.
there's a wide variety of consumers that buy our products.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hitch companies that build hitches. Not as cool as ours though, but
Yeah.
they're out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of customers,
For sure.
big pool of customers.
For sure.
So we're kind of in a market where it's a massive market, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just tons of opportunity.
For sure. So you mentioned not as cool as yours, and we touched on it earlier. What would you say kind of differentiates Gen Y and your competitors?
Well, I mean, over the years, we've kind of created a cult-like following.
Yeah.
So in other words, you think about Harley Davidson or Apple even, you know, there's people that only have Apple products and that's it.
Yeah.
Or if people buy a motorcycle, they're only doing a Harley Davidson, because we kind of built that culture.
Definitely.
Around our name, our product.
Yeah.
And was not by intention. I wouldn't say that when I started out, I never had that intention, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of happened with, one of the, probably year 3 or 4, we went to the SEMA show. Okay. Which is the biggest automotive aftermarket trade show that exists in the world.
Yeah.
And there's 250,000 people there in 1 week.
Wow.
That trade show.
Wow.
And there's, you know, it's basically from all over the world.
Yeah.
And we started going there and continued going there. And that's kind of where we built that. I'm sure you see the big trucks,
Yeah.
the colored hitches on them. And
Yep.
That's that type of cult-like following that I'm talking about.
I believe it, yeah.
And they're, you know, it's interesting. There's a customer one time told one of our salespeople that there's 2 things they believe in.
Yeah.
That's Jesus and Gen Y. I thought that was funny.
That's funny.
Interesting thing from a customer, but that type of stuff, we hear it all the time.
Yeah. No, for sure. And as I mentioned before we started the interview, is like the reputation that Gen Y built is you guys really have a community around your product. It's not just a product, but it's a community that drives itself. I really admire that, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I like to conclude each episode with this. If you could share one piece of advice with an aspiring entrepreneur, maybe something you've learned or regret along the way, what would you say that would be?
Well, I mean, my biggest regret probably is not seeking capital or business partners sooner. So we started in 2012, and I finally made that jump to do it in 2018 or 19. You met Danny outside, but I should have done that 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
You know, it just takes so much to build something like this. A company, you know, many entrepreneurs don't understand how much it really takes.
Yeah.
Not in just time, but capital.
For sure.
It takes a ton of money to build something like this.
Definitely.
And the first 3-4 years, you're not making a dollar.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you can self-fund everything.
Yeah.
And so definitely looking for capital investment, whatever that may look like.
Yeah.
You know, every business is different, but seek it out, you know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Amazing. Well, Carl, thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for having us to the facility. And to the listeners out there, make sure to check out Gen Y. The link will be in this description.